as a mark of respect to all of those who've lost their lives and been caught up in the terrible tragedy of the earthquake in Turkey, that obviously everyone with their thoughts with Christian Atsu's family this weekend. I was at Newcastle last night and there was a really emotional tribute to him. And Manchester United will get the game underway. They'll be playing from left to right in the first half. De Gea in goal, Dalot, Lindelof, Martinez and Shaw as the players take a knee again this weekend. Applause for that. Fred and Sabitzer in midfield. Casemiro suspended again for this match. Bruno Fernandes, Wout Weghorst, Garnacho and Rashford. That's the Manchester United team. 5 changes from the Nou Camp on Thursday night as the game begins. Manchester United playing it up towards Rashford, but it bounces to Suter, who passes it back to goalkeeper Ward, who will clear away to the halfway line. And Leicester unchanged after that win against Tottenham last weekend. No surprise there. So Ward in goal, Castagna, Suter, Fass and Christensen, Mendy and Dewsbury Hall, Tete, Maddison, Barnes and Iheanacho. And both Tielemans and Soumare are on the bench for Leicester today as they come back for injury. Likewise, Scott McTominay is on the bench for Manchester United after his recent absence through injury. Bruno Fernandes on the right-hand side playing it off. Christiansen, who puts it behind for a corner, first corner of the match, is he, to the home side.
Yeah, it looks like Bruno Fernandes operating on the right-hand side of the front three, with Weghorst dropping into that 10 role, Marcus Rashford down the middle and Garnacho off the left, which is interesting. Interesting
contrast between the two players in the number 10 position for this match, Maddison and Weghorst. Shaw with this corner for Manchester United is headed down and away. Good clearance on that from Leicester City's new number 15, Harry Suter. Another Harry in central defence for Leicester City now. Here's Shaw on the right-hand side. Shaw, who took the corner from there, finds Dalot. Dalot with a cross, but that is nodded away to safety. Under pressure from Castagna up towards Iheanacho, who scored in the draw here last season. Shaw, though, as it bounces back for Manchester United, he's still on the right, Luke Shaw. And Dalot as well is there, the two full-backs together. But Christiansen put in a challenge and Wout Weghorst had to use Martinez, and Martinez now through the middle of Bruno Fernandes, bounces away from him. Fred gets involved, but his pass forward takes it back to Leicester City, and Suter will hit a forceful pass forward but straight at Fred, who has got it back. So Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0. Our third Premier League commentary of this weekend, and the fourth will be coming up later. Tottenham against West Ham. Tottenham, who despite their 4-1 defeat at Leicester last weekend, Tottenham can get into the top 4 with a win against West Ham, who are now in the relegation positions. But that's all for later. Now Manchester United in possession with Fred, and the left-footed ball forward from him onto the fair head of the left back Christiansen, who's able to get it away. Bounces to Castagna on the edge of the box, who passed it to Suter, who I'm not sure was expecting that. Rashford was just behind him, but fortunately he was aware enough to be able to pass it back to goalkeeper Ward, who cleared quickly. Yeah, it was risky from that Leicester back line. The sharpest man in the league right now, Marcus Rashford, pounced then after failing to read the 1-2 from Weghorst. Leicester regained possession and Rashford was quick to pounce. He was so sharp, could have been different. Yes, the most informed striker in Europe in terms of his goals since the World Cup, Marcus Rashford. Now 22 this season and 14 in his last 16 appearances. I saw him score at Leeds last weekend at Elland Road. You might have heard him score for Manchester United in the Nou Camp on Thursday evening, and he's now scored in each of his last 4 matches. Manchester United with it inside their own half. Lindelof, who's come into the team. Varane's on the bench today. I'm sure that's a selection with all of these matches in mind, as Fred now comes forward. Fred takes it on but slips at the crucial point. Rashford had been fouled, but I think the referee played an advantage there and it didn't develop. Referee Stuart Atwell, incidentally, and Leicester have got it back at the back. Yeah, it's good refereeing actually. It was a foul on Rashford. Fred had the advantage and he just ended up slipping. The referee's not been conned into thinking it was unfortunate. Sabitzer plays it forward. Rashford now on the right side of the area, went for goal, but Suter came across and just stepped in front of the shot, and that took it straight behind into the hoardings, behind the goal to our right for a corner. Yeah, it's really, really sharp start from both teams. It's been quite aggressive, sharp. Rashford finding himself in a similar position than to that goal that he scored at the Nou Camp midweek.
on this right hand side inside the box and fires it across, but really fast start for Manchester United.
In the day's match in the Premiership, it finished Motherwell 2, Hearts 0. So that is a second win of the week for Motherwell. Corner then, Shaw again, the in-swinger from the left foot, just moves up now. It's a deep one this, to the back post, which is headed across by Sabitzer, but falls into the path of Mendy, who can jump and volley it away to comparative safety. Although here it comes again from Bruno Fernandes. Christensen just got in there. Shaw it was actually who was closest to getting a touch for Manchester United, but the Leicester left back, one of the recent signings, Christensen, who's now sprinting downfield. He's a big guy, isn't he, Christensen? First time I've seen him live for Leicester City. Big chest, tall man. And it goes back to the unmistakable Wout Faes with all of his brown curly hair in front of the penalty area, and now to the right hand side to Suter. Mendy then back into the penalty area. So Leicester building from the back. He might have just picked up the whistle from Brendan Rodgers. He loves a whistle, doesn't he? He's an excellent whistler. And he's got some instructions for his team as Faes plays it back to Ward on the D on the edge of the box. Right-footed ball from him, looking for Castagna, who's well forward now over the halfway line. Castagna still going. He's been chased by Garnacho, now cuts back and gives it behind him to Mendy, and then Leicester go all the way back into their own half again.
Yeah, just looking at Brendan Rodgers, his communication on the side, he's applauding his team. They've just absorbed that early pressure from Manchester United. And what they're doing really well is getting their fullbacks forward, Leicester, and then coming back against the pressure, which just gives them a chance to dominate the ball a little bit. Pleasing the manager very much so. Yeah,
and Manchester United, just to restate it, it is Rashford furthest forward through the middle, Garnacho on the left hand side, Bruno Fernandes on the right, and Wout Weghorst, the number 20, yet to score in the Premier League for Manchester United, playing as in the number 10 role. But here's Dewsbury Hall now on the right hand side as Leicester break away promisingly on the cross. They had 3 men in the box there, Leicester. Manchester United got it away. Bounces for Iheanacho, his shot, that's blocked by Martinez, and then it's headed away by Fred on the edge of the penalty area. But absolutely there is I think we see the current strength of this Leicester side as Dewsbury Hall broke down the right. They got men in the box.
Yeah, they had a 3v2 in the box, John. It was an overload, and it was Dewsbury Hall that failed to pick out a teammate, but it could have been way different. Maddison was lurking in that cutback zone. Should have been different. A really big chance for Leicester.
Yeah. Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0. This is 5 Live from the BBC. BBC Sounds as well. If you're on the move on this Sunday afternoon, you can listen to the live radio via the app, which you can download for free and listen wherever you are. And indeed, listen back to our commentaries. If you've been to the match and want to hear it all over again, and it's been a 5 Live commentary match, then that is something else you can do. Here's Ward with the ball on the edge of their own penalty area, chipping it out towards the left hand side. Christensen chests it down just under his throat, and it bounces infield where Lindelof will jump high against Harvey Barnes, but it bounces for Barnes, and Barnes now through the middle to Iheanacho. Red shirt's getting back, Barnes right through the middle. Oh, what a save! What a save from De Gea. It seemed certain almost that Barnes would score. He hit it well enough, one-on-one with De Gea, who thrust out his right arm and got enough on that to deflect it up and wide and behind. Yeah,
what a save from David De Gea, by the way. But that counter-attack from Harvey Barnes linking with Iheanacho was delightful through the middle of that Manchester United defence. How Iheanacho found him again on the move, and he's just gone 1v1 with De Gea. Should have scored.
Should have scored, but that was an outstanding save. Corner then for Leicester. This is their first, to be taken by Christensen from the in front of the Stretford end. In it comes, and the head out from Suter is over the top. Got it well, the central defender, 8 yards out, maybe something like that. Hit it powerfully with his forehead, but over the top by what, a yard?
Yeah, it was close. Could argue that he should do better. He needs to hit the target there. And just looking at who's marking Harry Suter, by the way, they've got Wout Weghorst, Manchester United, who'd match him height for height, and it's Luke Shaw who's marking the biggest central defender for Leicester City. That can't happen again.
Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0, but opportunities at both ends, and Leicester with the best of them. Here's Fernandes though on the right. First time volley, bounces off Faes. Rashford got a touch. It was all very at close quarters, and it came off Rashford straight into Faes. and rebounded out of the penalty area. Brilliant cushioned volley from Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
What a touch that was.
That's why he's playing in this role on the right hand side. Normally he's central. He can't do that from a central area. Just his technical ability is superior to many.
And Leicester, Maddison might have used the nudge there, gives it to Iheanacho, left foot shot from him, deflected off Lindelof. That could easily have been deflected into the bottom corner. Instead, it was just wide, centimetres wide at the foot of the post off the Manchester United defender. It's actually a poor effort from Iheanacho.
Yeah,
the
again,
shot.
Maddison just creating on the half turn. He just chops it the other side of Martinez and feeds Iheanacho. Iheanacho's got to score there, but like you say, John, he didn't connect with the ball properly and he kind of scuffs it. And it was Lindelof with the clearance that guides it. But that pass from Maddison has to go into the path of Iheanacho. Leicester could be 2-0 up here.
They could. Corner again. And actually, it was more of a foul by Sabitzer on Maddison than it was the other way around in the build-up to that. He was strong, Maddison, shoulder to shoulder, just brushed it off. So here's the latest corner. De Gea gets a right uppercut on that. That was a real haymaker, and he got good distance on it. But Leicester come again. The ball's whipped in right across the face of the goal and beyond the far post, and it is behind. No one got a touch. The shot from Iheanacho, and it's a goal kick to Manchester United. Still 0-0.
Yeah, he's throwing his arms up there, Iheanacho. I think he's kind of hoping that one of his teammates is going to get a glance on it. But what a start to this game, John.
Excellent, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Yeah. Sun's coming out as well. Everything's all right in the world, is it? Grey skies above Old Trafford. It's got a touch of spring, that spring light in the air today, though, now that we're into the second half of February, and shadows being cast across the pitch. Now the sun comes out a little brighter. Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0. But Brendan Rodgers' current team, they have so many different faces, don't they? Leicester City with the injury problems that they've had, now the new signings that were made. Well, if this is what they're all about, this is much more promising. There have been times, haven't there, this season where you did wonder whether Brendan Rodgers might not have too much longer left in this job, but things have changed. Lindelof now long and forward from him. Fass near the edge of the box comes across and heads it down, and Christensen plays it forward, but he's played it straight to Sabitzer on loan from Bayern Munich. Square from him to Fred. Shaw's joining in, edge of the area. Shaw's shot across the penalty area was low and straight into Suter, who was able to block it away. And Garnacho has it on the left-hand side. Garnacho, no Jadon Sancho in the team today after his little run recently, having come back into the fold. He scored the winner against Leicester earlier this season, actually, before things rather soured for him. But on the bench today, Sancho, as in comes Suter, puts in a challenge on Rashford. Tight, straight in on Rashford, 30 yards from goal. Meant that it couldn't reach him. Manchester United with it back. Fred now over to the left-hand side. Still 0-0. Shaw. Here's Garnacho now, with his heels on the white line on the far side. Garnacho, as the challenge came in, he was able to find the pass to Fred. Dewsbury Hall was in there as well, but so was Weghorst, and it's back to Garnacho, the new young favourite here, the teenager. Weghorst to the edge of the area. Not sure he's quite a favourite just yet, but let's give him time. Up to Iheanacho on the halfway line, bounces away after the challenge. Good one by Martinez. Sabitzer through to Rashford, first time touch from him, and here again is Garnacho, who is able to play it back towards the centre circle. Manchester United come again. Two managers just catch my eye as the ball rolls to this side of the field, both of them right on the edge of their coaching area, and the ball at the feet of Lindelof. Lindelof then takes on and moves away from Maddison and gives it to Shaw on the left-hand side. Luke Shaw now curls it forward towards the run of Sabitzer, who pulls that down and then angles the ball back, but Mendy was in position on the edge of the area and was able to tidy up for Leicester City. Yeah,
it's fascinating, this game so far, John. I'm just looking at the way Leicester are pushing players up. I was just watching Christensen in the left-back position, the way he squeezed up onto Dalot just to stop Manchester United playing forward. They're in their faces. It's fast-paced, it's aggressive, and no team as yet has had a real chance to get some respite and get the foot on the ball, but it's good for our eye.
That is Izzy Christensen of Everton and England, and Leicester City have won the ball back on the edge of their own penalty area. Dewsbury Hall plays it back to goalkeeper Ward who clears, and Iheanacho gives it to Tete. We've not really seen him involved in the game yet, the on-loan Brazilian. Tete takes it on and gets the cross in, but on the edge of the box. Fred was there in position and was able to, on the stretch, poke it wide and behind for another Leicester corner.
Yeah, he should have played it earlier, Tete. James Maddison was in one-on-one. He should have just fizzed the ball across the sort of 6-yard line, just in front of it, in between there and the penalty spot, and James Maddison almost certainly would have had a tap-in. Big chance again for Leicester. Yeah,
it is. So another corner, another chance to threaten. Suter with the last header, as you said, is he was being marked by Shaw, and he is again. Shaw, here's the corner, aiming towards Suter, who stretched for it but was under pressure, off balance, was able to get his head to it, but it didn't even reach the goal. It was blocked, and then the whistle's gone for a foul by Dewsbury Hall. So a free kick to Manchester United in their own right back area, 0-0.
Yeah, I think it was handball there.
Yeah, wasn't it?
It was just picking up the second phase, but it's really sharp again from Leicester, locking Manchester United in. Fascinating game.
So 0-0 the score. This time next week, as I say, we'll be at Wembley. You'll be able to hear all of the build-up to that. Premier League commentaries as well, of course, next weekend, but absolutely fascinating. Newcastle against Manchester United, and after the events of yesterday, it does sound, I was at St James's Park last night, Izzy, and listening to Eddie Howe afterwards speaking to us, it sounded very clear that Loris Karius will be his choice to be in goal for the cup final, which will be his competitive debut for Newcastle United. And there is a very clear story there to be written. Here is Ward, who clears the ball away from his penalty area. Dewsbury Hall just beaten to it by Fred, bounces into the full-back area. Suter is there, big right foot on it from him towards the halfway line, bounces off Tete, and Manchester United have got it back. Sabitzer just nodded it back into his own half. So yes, join us for that next weekend. 4:30 kick-off in the Carabao Cup final, where Manchester United will be attempting to win a trophy for the first time since 2017. So if you play for Manchester United, the pressure is always going to be there, but clearly pressure next weekend on them as well as Newcastle United.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a really great cup final, that. Two teams haven't been there in a while. Newcastle more so, a long time, but poised perfectly that for a fantastic game.
Yes, 9 shots towards goal in the first 15 minutes of this match. Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0. But just for the last couple of minutes, it's being played between the two penalty areas. And here's Leicester, halfway inside their own half. Fast, just turns and directs it back to goalkeeper Ward, who comes out of the penalty area. He's able to find Castagna. Now here's Iheanacho. Iheanacho in a deeper position, so there are 4 players ahead of Iheanacho, and one of them is Tete on the right hand side. Tete up against Lindelof, into the box now, on his left foot, shoots right across the face of goal. Barnes arriving, couldn't get there, and it was whipped wide of the far post for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's super play again from Leicester down that right hand side. Just that link up play between Iheanacho and Dewsbury Hall, releasing Castagna down the side, and then Tete getting into the box 1v1 with Lindelof. And he actually, when he looked up, he didn't have any options in the box, and I was sort of looking at Maddison going, get in the box.
Oh, and it's bounced off Fred, and it's bounced to Maddison, and the referee says he was nudged off the ball by Maddison. So it's a free kick. It's a free kick to Manchester United.
Yeah, can't believe it, can he, James Maddison? The high press from Leicester again, and just having a word with the referee is James Maddison.
Yeah, little conversation between the two of them, and as the referee runs away and turns his back, James Maddison sort of flaps the air with his arm, as if to say there wasn't much in that. But it is Manchester United who take the free kick. Steve Holland watching. James Maddison, well, in the form that he's currently in, and I've heard a lot about it, and I'm looking forward to witnessing it today. Having been in the World Cup squad, but had that injury, didn't he, which meant that he didn't get an opportunity. You would think that he would be in the squad next month for the Euro qualifiers, but we'll see. As Weghorst puts in a challenge with Mendy, bounces here to Christensen, and now Harvey Barnes back into his own half. And,
brilliant from Leicester City, the composure to play out under pressure, to get out of tight areas. You can just see a calmness about their play, and it's all coming from Iheanacho. his link-up play and dropping in almost like a false nine. It's just creating so many problems for Manchester United.
Big Wout Weghorst went down rather easily there after a challenge from little Mendy. Halfway inside the Leicester half, he wanted a free kick, so did the United fans, but it wasn't given. And here is Mendy playing it infield. Dewsbury Hall was under pressure from Fred, but found the short pass to Maddison. Now Iheanacho back to Maddison, but Martinez read that, stepped in, put in the challenge on Maddison. And Mendy, I think, was just caught there by Rashford. He's okay though. And Leicester City, this has been very, very impressive in these first 20 minutes from Leicester. And here now Castagna down the right-hand side, and he's got some space. If he can pick out a teammate in blue to the back post, Iheanacho with a header, and it's saved by De Gea, diving to his right. There wasn't enough power on the header from Iheanacho, but even so, De Gea coming back across his goal, had to get a hand to it, which he did, and clawed it away.
What a save again, David De Gea. He's kind of scooped the ball from behind him. It's bound for the bottom corner, but again, Leicester City on the breakdown that right-hand side. Just a chipped ball to the back post, and Iheanacho, he does fine there for me, John. Iheanacho, it's a super save from De Gea.
Yep, he put as much power on it as he could, sort of stun header. Now Tete plays it across the Manchester United box, and Leicester City, the chances they've had now in this match, not being able to put any of them in the back of the net though, but they've won the ball back again. It was lost by Weghorst. Now ball played by Tete to the left-hand side to Barnes. Barnes' cross hits the backside of Bruno Fernandes on the edge of the area. Maddison's there, Weghorst as well. Bounces to Bruno Fernandes. One long ball high away downfield, but Souttar was underneath that. Souttar, who's being serenaded by the Leicester City fans. Souttar. And he wins the header against Rashford, and Leicester come again. Christensen on the left-hand side. His ball, David De Gea, well outside his penalty area, comes and catches it almost near the edge of the box.
Yeah, it's again outstanding bit of pressure from Leicester City. You can just see Erik ten Hag in his dugout just telling David De Gea when he's come and claimed that cross, just to calm things down a little bit, because he knows his team are under pressure here.
David De Gea, incidentally, statistical note, he is currently level with Peter Schmeichel in terms of the most clean sheets for Manchester United. So clean sheet today, and he would move past Peter Schmeichel in that particular table of standings. Although, as has been discussed on 5 Live recently, Peter Schmeichel made considerably fewer appearances for the club than David De Gea has. This is his 521st today. David De Gea, Peter Schmeichel 398. So Peter Schmeichel, we work quite often with Peter, Izzy. I don't know how often you cross paths with him. I suspect he will stubbornly still say the record is his on a appearances to clean sheets basis.
Sounds like it's getting a little bit too statistical for me.
Right, well, so we'll leave it there.
David De Gea wants to continue with that. Yes. He's going the right way about it today.
And point being, he's made a very good start if he's going to get his clean sheet today, having made 2 very good saves so far in the match. As Castagna wins the ball back for Leicester, who are certainly not being cowed by this opposition today. And now Maddison near the edge of the area couldn't find the little dink pass past Dallo, who came across and had left Harvey Barnes. And if Maddison had been able to find that pass, Barnes would have been in again, but he didn't. And Manchester United now with Sabitzer volleying it over the top. This time Fass was tight on Rashford, and he got the challenge in, which meant Rashford got no change out of him. And as he stepped away, did you notice Fass, as he turned and clapped his hands towards Souttar? It looks as though they know that they're having to work as a pair to deal with Rashford here today.
Yeah, they are, and you can tell they're going tight to him when he drops deep, and they're dealing with the space in behind. They're controlling the space that he wants to work in, Rashford. And so far, 23 minutes in, they've done pretty well at it.
They have. Leicester actually have been the better team, and here they come again. And Castagna is away from Garnacho rather easily, but Luke Shaw is able to come across and actually shepherd him quite simply behind, and he ran out of pitch and over the line, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, super 1v1 defending from Luke Shaw. He's actually, Garnacho been a little bit tough on him in the past, but he's had a really slow start to this game defensively. He's been caught out of position a couple of times, and Leicester City, they've got nobody in the box, otherwise a cross could have caused Manchester United's back. Central defender's a huge problem. Yeah,
he's still raw, isn't he? Garnacho, 18 years old. Ball's played forward by Fernandes to Rashford, who looked offside. Rashford's in to shoot into the net. and the goal is given. There's no flag from the assistant, and Rashford comes across and salutes the crowd. I think it might be a tight one, but for the time being, it is Manchester United 1, Leicester City 0, and Rashford has his 23rd of the season, which is a new personal best for him, for Manchester United in one season.
Yeah, no one's picking him up, John. We were just talking about the dual job that Fass and Souttar are having to do, but just look at him here. Nobody's picking him up. Souttar's stepping up. He looks onside to me, and that ball with the outside of his foot from Bruno Fernandes is audacious into the path of Marcus Rashford. And I tell you what, John, he is not missing that in the form that he is in. But that pass from Bruno Fernandes with the outside of his foot, super goal from Manchester United.
Yeah, onside, a couple of feet onside. It was the pace of Rashford that took him away. And so the two Leicester City central defenders, Souttar and Fass, who'd done a good job up to that point for the first almost 25 minutes, just that little error there.
Yeah.
I think it was Souttar, wasn't it, who was just behind him, and therefore Rashford onside, ran through from the angle, one-on-one with Ward, but he buried it, right foot, drove it past the Leicester City goalkeeper. 1-0 Manchester United.
And how do they deal with him now? Fass and Souttar, they're going to go even tighter. The spaces open up for others. Just half a yard it was, wasn't it? Harry Souttar wanted half a yard.
If that even, just maybe a foot or so, but that was enough. That's all he needed. So there we are, Rashford now scoring in 5 matches in a row again. He's been down that road already this season, and he's scored now in 7 consecutive home Premier League appearances. Here is Tete on the right-hand side. Back it comes to Dewsbury Hall, near the corner of the penalty area. Back to Mendy. And it's a very familiar story. One team, so many chances, not able to take them, not able to put the ball in the net. Important saves from David De Gea. Chances not taken at one end. And then a man like Marcus Rashford at the other was not going to be denied. And Leicester City could have been 1 up, could have been 2 up. They're 1 down.
Yeah, it's a classic, isn't it, John? It's all been one-sided so far, and Manchester United, they're deadly. They've got players that can hurt you with a single movement, and the technical detail on that outside of the foot pass from Bruno Fernandes is just, it's delightful.
Fernandes and Rashford combining, and now Fass comes across, had to make that tackle, had to time that properly on Fred. He did though, and then Mendy has fouled, and it's a free kick to Leicester inside their own half. 1-0 Manchester United.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that tackle from Fass. It's well timed, it's aggressive, it's a proper centre half tackle, isn't it? Fred didn't like it, but there's nothing wrong with it from Fass. And Bruno Fernandes just subsequently fouling just to disrupt Leicester's progress with that attack off the second ball.
So Manchester United supporters can celebrate another Marcus Rashford goal, and I think the most significant thing about that is that it is now his best goal scoring season for Manchester United, 23 in all competitions. And Manchester United having to defend here, which they do. Sabitzer coming across and whacking it away, but quite cleverly off an opponent, out of play for a throw into Manchester United in their own left-back position. And I mean, it's a brilliant run of form. So that's 15 in 17 appearances now for Rashford since the World Cup. It's been sensational, actually. He's outscoring everyone else since the World Cup in all of the top leagues. And as I was saying last week in our commentary at Elland Road, I have a feeling that if Gareth Southgate knew back then what he knows now, as Fernandes will play it forward but wins a throw-in off Harvey Barnes, and if he knew the form that Rashford was going to be in, then I suspect he would have been starting all of the matches for England at the World Cup.
Yep, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but I don't think Marcus Rashford did change the present moment for anything. No, given away by Martinez. Leicester City are all over this quickly. Maddison's pass was a little short actually, and then Harvey Barnes slipped over, and that meant it came to nothing. And Manchester United have got it back inside their own half. But certainly, as long as everyone stays fit for that first Euro qualifier for England, when we go to Naples next month, yes, Naples, to play the European champions Italy, then you would strongly suspect, if they're fit, Saka,
Kane, Rashford would be your front three.
Yeah, it's scary, isn't it, to think the form that those three guys are in, you know, it'd be frightening for England.
Serena Wiegmann's team play again this afternoon, incidentally, England against Italy. That'll be kicking off in Coventry in about 3/4 of an hour's time. So England-Italy will keep you across that. And your choice of listening this afternoon on Sports Extra right now, the latest match at the T20 World Cup in South Africa, Pakistan against West Indies, and New Zealand, Sri Lanka later. 1-0 Manchester United lead here. Marcus Rashford, almost inevitably the goal scorer. Sabitzer playing the ball over the top. Now Shaw back to Weghorst. Weghorst to Fernandes. Fernandes, well, poor touch from Bruno Fernandes, and that meant that Dewsbury Hall was quickly in, took the ball away. His forward pass to Maddison on the halfway line. Here's Tete now on the right hand side. Left-footed ball from Tete cross field. Maddison peeled away to the back post, chests it down in the area. Lovely touch. Back to Dewsbury Hall. Left-footed shot which was pulled wide from the edge of the area by 3 or 4 feet.
The football in this game, some of it being played, John, is unbelievably good. Just seeing one of the best first touches I have ever seen from James Maddison, taking the ball on the move in that midfield area. And moment prior to that, Sabitzer's also done exactly the same on the Cruyff turn. I'm just thinking some of this football is fantastic. But yeah, big chance again for Leicester. Super play for Maddison, peeling off at the far post, laying it into the path of Dewsbury Hall. He dragged it wide, but again, another chance for Leicester.
It's Izzy Christiansen, the Everton captain, and we're watching Manchester United coming forward with Weghorst on the right hand side. Mendy puts in the challenge again, and 5 or 6 minutes ago, Weghorst goes down with a little touch from Mendy, which is given as a free kick this time, and maybe just caught him on the back of the heel, the Achilles, which obviously can be painful. Yeah. But it's a free kick on the right. There's
no need for that foul there from Mendy. Weghorst, he's got his back to goal. He's got about a metre of the pitch to operate in on the touchline on this right hand side. He just goes through the back of him, doesn't he, Mendy? And Weghorst takes the foul.
So 1-0 Manchester United, the free kick in a good position. Incidentally, Leicester went behind in their last 3 matches and are unbeaten in their last 3 matches. 1-0 down here. Shaw and Fernandes to take this. It's going to be Fernandes. Shaw wanders away. Bruno Fernandes, the outswinging free kick to the near post, is cleared away. Garnacho's underneath that, but snatched at it and sent it looping up and over the top of Danny Ward's crossbar. Goal kick, Leicester.
Yeah, Garnacho could do better there. He just snatches at it a little bit as the ball drops. Dropped quite nicely, actually. When you're doing shooting drills and training, you practice hitting balls like that falling to you on the edge of the box. But yeah, he's just snatched at it looking at the replay. But good for him to get a sight of goal.
Manchester United 1, Leicester City 0. Sabitzer drives the ball through at pace. Bruno Fernandes, lovely touch though to control it. Now he gives it to Dalot on the right hand side, whose cross hit the thigh of Christiansen and bounced back past Dalot for a throw in here on the halfway line. Just thinking, is he Maddison wins the ball back from Lindelof on the halfway line, but it bounces away, and Martinez was there to see it back to David De Gea, who clears from the penalty area, bounces over towards the far side. Shaw heads it forward. Garnacho back to the England left back, puts his foot on the ball, flicks it infield to Bruno Fernandes. Long ball from him that Fred's going to do well to reach, and it bounces away beyond him and out and behind for a goal kick. So 1-0 Manchester United. The Rashford salute celebration. Have you seen that before? Is that new? Because he's been doing the pointing at the head recently.
Was he saluting then when he scored today?
Yeah, salute. It looked like a salute to me.
He looked like he was in a state of meditation, almost peaceful moment.
Must be great, you know, whatever you do, certainly as a sports person, when you're on the top of your game and everything seems to click, and Fernandes playing it through now to Rashford, who keeps the ball in actually and just pushes it out left-footed for a throw-in to Leicester City because the pace on the ball towards him. So it's a throw-in to Leicester in their own left-back position with just over 10 minutes, well, a little bit more than that, 12 minutes or so to play to half-time. But that combination led to the goal. Fernandes, lovely touch from him, and Rashford beating the offside trap and running through and scoring with his right foot. There's Leicester with Barnes, who had that great early chance one-on-one with De Gea, who made the outstanding save, Barnes is beaten to it, and Manchester United have it back level with the edge of their own penalty area. So 1-0 it is, and Sabitzer plays it over the halfway line. Fass just turns and gives it back to Danny Ward. I think Erik ten Hag. Oh no, absolutely. I've just been shown he was pointing. It looked like a salute to me from up here, but he was. It was that pointing. It was that pointing at his head again that he's. That is the familiar recent Marcus Rashford celebration.
There is a theme with it, but I'm not entirely sure. I'd need to look it up.
Okay. Here's Fass. I can almost see away over the water in Salford Steve Crossman in the studio doing exactly that, and they'll have the answers for us at half time. 1-0 Manchester United lead, 10 minutes to go, and Erik ten Hag, I'm sure, will be absolutely delighted with this, because of the fact that it comes between the Barcelona games and the cup final next weekend. Manchester United, this is so important for them in the Premier League. Iheanacho trying to take the ball on towards the edge of the penalty area, but in the end it's actually Weghorst who was back there putting that challenge in.
Yeah, it's a super tackle from Weghorst, just sliding back to stop Iheanacho from pulling the trigger.
Yeah, brilliant tackle on the edge of his own penalty area. When Chris Waddle was with me at Elland Road last week, we were talking about how Weghorst was trying to turn into Neymar. Now he's turning into Brian Robson with his tackles on the edge of his own penalty area. Here's Fred. Now here is Weghorst, the tall Dutchman, the number 17, slips the ball through. Dalot takes it on through the middle, then uses Fernandes on the right. Fernandes back across. Oh, Dalot couldn't finish in the 6-yard box. Stuck out a leg, came off his shin and squirted beyond the far post for a goal kick.
Deary me, that is an awful finish from Dalot. He just gets back up and jogs back. But my word, what a ball again from Bruno Fernandes. That pass across the 6-yard line into his path, and it was harder to miss from Diego Dalot, but a huge chance for Manchester United to go 2-0 up.
Well, if that was Rashford in there, that would have been 2-0 Manchester United, but it wasn't. It was Diogo Dalot, and so it remains 1-0. Castagna heading the ball forward. Fred has fouled Dewsbury Hall. Cheers from the Foxes fans to our right. Lots of blue shirts and scarves in there. Plus also one very obvious kind of tiger patterned bright orange anorak down near the front on the left hand side. Free kick, Leicester take this back to Suter. Suter on his right foot thinks, I'm going to have a wander forward, Harry Maguire like in a Leicester City kit.
You know what's funny, John? I was actually thinking, since Leicester City signed Harry Suter, I see so many similarities to Harry Maguire in the way that he plays and the presence that he's got at the back, especially when Maguire played for Leicester City.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. It's not just the name, is it? It is the way that he carries himself. And here he is again, and he does have that same sort of body language through the middle. Iheanacho couldn't find the pass through. That was cut out by Lindelof. Christensen's taking this on. The left back up to the edge of the area. Now Barnes on the left-hand side. Harvey Barnes puts his foot on it and then slips it past Sabitzer into the box. Maddison back to Barnes. Barnes now lifted across the 6-yard box. Shaw allowed it to bounce, turned and was volleying it away as soon as he could, knowing that Tete wasn't far away, and it's out for a throw to Leicester inside their own half.
Yeah, it's lovely link-up play between James Maddison and Harvey Barnes on this left-hand side for Leicester, just working their way into the box. Another good chance, not a chance, but a good opening for Leicester City. Always coming through James Maddison.
An enjoyable first half. 1-0 Manchester United lead, and it feels like the ball's been in play a lot as well in this first half. It's had a good flow to it. Suter at the back for Leicester, Fass to his left, and there's Dewsbury Hall, who's under pressure from Fred, so controls and hits the long ball downfield that Dalot was underneath, Harvey Barnes behind him, but Dalot the clear favourite to get there first, and heads it back to David De Gea with the packed two-tier Stretford end behind him. I think great talking point for Manchester United supporters today about the bids, the soft bids as they called them, that we know about, that have come in for Manchester United, about what they would consider to be the best course of action. I think the consensus seems to be anyone but the Glazers. As Leicester have it inside their own half, Christensen turns and plays it back to goalkeeper Ward to our right. Bruno Fernandes herring towards him. Ward clears it. Shaw heads it forward. Garnacho against Dewsbury Hall, and it's out of play off the Leicester midfield after a throw in to Manchester United over on the far side. 5 minutes to go to the half-time break. Manchester United leading almost inevitably, if you've just switched on to 5 Live this afternoon, through a goal from Marcus Rashford. Well taken goal from when he was in the position running through. You almost didn't expect anything other than him to strike it past Ward and into the back of the Leicester City net, and that's what happened. Shaw now with a left foot ball across to Fernandes. Sabitzer makes a run to the right side of the box. His ball across to the near post, cleared away by Mendy, who's in there falling to the ground. Manchester United come again. Fred, 35 yards out, has a shot, but that hits Rashford, actually, his teammate, knocks him over on the edge of the area, and then referee Atwell stops play. Fass has gone down, but also I think he thinks that Rashford was perhaps hit in the head by that ball.
Yeah,
but he wasn't. I think it was on his body.
It was on his back, yeah, but it's knocked him over. But I don't know why Fred is shooting from there. As the ball's recycled from that previous Manchester United attack, he's at least 40 yards out. Just sustain the attack. You've got Leicester on the rack again, and it's ended up being blocked by his own player. But again, that key guy to the movement in Manchester United's attacks, it is Rashford coming short, Fernandes going long, and then Fernandes just using his ability to feed the ball into the 6-yard area. Could have had another goal from that just then.
Still a stoppage. Fass is receiving treatment. I think he's going to be okay. There's lots of discussion going on here on the side of the pitch. Brendan Rodgers has had a chat. Maddison, the captain, has come across for a word. Eric Ten Hag just on his seat at the moment, satisfied with the way things that have gone. This time next week he might have his hands on the three-handled League Cup trophy, one of my favourite trophies in sport. Or it could be Eddie Howe with his hands and that little R that he has, a tattoo on his right wrist, as I learned in Fact of the Day on Friday when I failed to pick that out. Tony Livesey's Fact of the Day. Eddie Howe's tattoo, the little R, for his black Labrador Rodney, which Tony's been on great form recently, coming up with some fine facts that have been fooling me on a regular basis. But there we are, as Manchester United get the ball and play back underway. Rashford with it on the left-hand side, but Suter goes to ground. And then with that challenge, Tete plays it across field. Harvey Barnes is onto this. Maddison on the overlap to his left. Barnes does use him. Maddison now, number 10 on his back. Gallo, though, is able to put the foot in and win the ball against Maddison, who couldn't get past him. And it's out off Christensen for a throw-in to Manchester United.
Yeah, it's brilliant from Diego Dalot, just standing up to James Maddison, who's looking to cut inside. Looks like he was about to shape one into the box to Iniacho, but Dalot just stood up to him. Just prior to that, John, just the tackle from Harry Suter to stop Marcus Rashford progressing. Once he gets going, Rashford, he's almost unstoppable, and Suter's just stuck out a leg and tackled him and stopped that happening.
They've won most of their battles, Suter and Fass, against Marcus Rashford, but crucially, he beat their offside trap and scored 1-0. And Manchester United back in possession on the halfway line. Dalot now on the right. Dalot passes it forward, bounces off Fred. Little ball from Fred. Weghorst then to Rashford. Fass so tight on him, 30 yards more than that from goal. Was able to give the ball to Fernandes. Now short on the left hand side. Garnacho, little infield towards Fred, and Garnacho then runs out of room, and Leicester have it back, and Maddison played the ball to Iheanacho, who's in an offside position. I must say, watching Fass and Suter against Rashford, bear in mind Manchester United have been to Barcelona and back this week and had that big game, big pressure match in the new camp. Excellent match as well, of course, if you're listening to it on Thursday evening. Leicester have had all week to prepare for this, and the way that they've played against Rashford has got that written all over them, I feel. Yeah,
you can just tell the way they're communicating off the ball. They've got even closer to him since he'd scored that opening goal. But it's really smart from Ten Hag the way he's put Marcus Rashford down the middle in this game. You know, he's been operating off the left quite frequently recently, but down the middle just to, you know, really cause a problem to Sutar and Christiansen, if you like, as well. He's new to this back line of Leicester City.
Yep, as Sabitzer plays a good pass forward. Fernandes in the area looking for the run of Weghorst, but Fass was able to come across and got there first. And Fass is actually carrying the ball away and looking, he's actually, I think, hoping that Weghorst is going to foul him. In fact, Weghorst puts in a good tackle and knocks the ball out of play for a throw. To Leicester, almost halfway inside their own half. So 1-0 Manchester United lead, 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and Tottenham against West Ham to come at half-time. We'll, I'm sure, be crossing to the Tottenham Stadium and hearing from Vicky Sparks. Vicky's going to be alongside Glenn Murray for that. And 2 minutes of added time being played here at Old Trafford. Martinez with his left foot to Shaw. Son's just disappeared for the time being. Fred back into the centre circle to Lindelof, dark hair bobbing. Dalot comes back to help him out, and it's played all the way back to De Gea. But the story of the first half has been really an excellent first 20 minutes from Leicester City, who asked all sorts of questions about Manchester United, had opportunities, De Gea with a couple of saves, and then Rashford struck at the other end. Here's Maddison though, half-time approaching. Maddison goes for goal, and the dipping shot is wide of De Gea's right post. He dropped down to his knees, but he knew it was bending wide.
Yeah, it's just Maddison again, popping up on this left-hand side now. It was really poor from Fred. Don't know what he was trying in possession, playing out from the back, but he just gave it away too cheaply. And then Maddison punishes, and Maddison, how often have we seen him score from that position where he's shaped to go across goal, but he's put disguise on the shot and he's going for De Gea's near post. Just goes wide, but really good effort by Maddison.
So 1-0 goal kick. Still think we'll have a minute or so of play at the end of this first half in added time. Ball headed away for Leicester over the halfway line by Dewsbury Hall. Then Sabitzer gets a touch. It comes back to Sabitzer with his black gloves on. Fass volleys that back for Iheanacho, who twice collides with Lindelof. Now the two of them shoulder to shoulder again, but it is Lindelof for Manchester United who's able to get a touch, and then it's played forward, and Fass got there. Rashford's right with him. Fass put the challenge in on Rashford. Fernandes then takes it on, and Fass then fouls Fernandes just outside the penalty area, and it's a yellow card, and it was a little reckless the way that he went in for that. Bruno Fernandes reeled away, went to ground. The complaints from the Leicester players here, but it is a free kick that has been given, and there are 2-3 Leicester City players next to Stuart Atwell, but the free kick's been given for Manchester United.
Yeah, superb anticipation from Bruno Fernandes to pick up the second ball. Fass and Rashford have gone head to head. The ball's dropped, and Fernandes just backing up the attack, pinches it past Fass, and Fass has to make some sort of tackle. It's 100% a foul. I don't know what the Leicester City players are complaining about, but again, that initiative from the captain Bruno Fernandes just to pick up the second ball and create now this opportunity, which it looks to me, John, Luke Shaw, surely this is lined up for a left footer on the side of the box.
Yep, he's having a look at it. Fernandes is there as well, and actually Martinez too, who is just part of the discussions but will move away. Leicester City players were seeming to suggest that he should ask the assistant about that challenge on this side of the field, but you know, it looked like a foul, and on the replays it looked like a foul, and I think a yellow card. So Shaw will take that free kick, and he went for goal but whipped it up over the two-man wall, over the bar behind. And there we are, half-time arrives with Manchester United leading through Marcus Rashford's 25th minute goal when he beat the offside trap and ran through. Before that, it had been almost all Leicester City. Izzy Christiansen.
Yep, Leicester definitely had the majority of the better chances in this first half, but that goal, real bit of quality for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes combining with Marcus Rashford, and the finish from the guy in form was just, you know, it was instinctive, it was decisive. It was a super finish across the face of Danny Ward in the Leicester goal, but Yeah, I think on the whole, quite an even game and some really high bits of quality.
Yep, just the one goal though, Marcus Rashford, and just to underline it, 23 now for Manchester United this season, 15 in 17 since the World Cup, and he's scored in 5 matches in a row again. There's almost no stopping him at the moment, and because of that, at half-time, it's Manchester United 1, Leicester City 0.
And the celebration, John, the pointing to the temple, it's about him refinding his focus and shutting out external noise. So I don't think he talks about it in any detail, but that's about as much as we know. And whatever he's doing, it's working.
Well, we might have the opportunity to talk to him later in the programme today. You never know, he might be doing the rounds if Manchester United win this, and if there's another couple of goals for Marcus Rashford, then we might hear it from the horse's mouth.
I wonder, Izzy, if Brendan Rodgers will be frustrated, because we heard him before the game saying, you know, we're trying to find a collective plan for Rashford, and we've literally just seen it, the way Souttar and Fass are working, but it's one bad ball from Fass out of position, and Rashford needs one chance.
Yeah, and also Harry Souttar not stepping up quick enough. He should have anticipated in that split second. The ball's turned over, I've got to get up here, because you can see where Marcus Rashford is. He's unmarked in between the 2 Leicester City central defenders, but that's what these top teams do. And what I've seen from Manchester United today so far is a team that look relentless even when they're under pressure. And yes, Leicester City have had some good chances, but I'm seeing a team in Manchester United that just look like a force. When a player's not, necessarily having a good game, some bits of Fred could argue in midfield, they've not really been there. Fernandes has caused some real issues on this right hand side. Rashford, of course, find him and he'll score. And yeah, they're looking brilliant, aren't they?
But there's no disgrace in that, Steve, is there? Marcus Rashford is getting the better of defenders, some of the best defenders around.
Yes.
Match in, match out.
Well, that's why I thought, John, that they might be slightly frustrated, because they've done such a fantastic job, and then one error from both players has undone them. But that's what Rashford does at the minute.
We were talking about, Haaland territory, how much we were talking about how to deal with him at the start of the season, and I'm actually going to throw it out there. He's more difficult to mark than Haaland because of his variation in where he appears on the pitch, left, central or the right hand side. And that, like you say, Steve, the split second, I think it was 23 minutes into the game, and me and John are complimenting Harry Souttar and Wout Fass that how well they've dealt with Rashford so far, but it's what the top players do to you, that split second, that moment of switch off, and the ball's in the back of your own net and chasing the game again.
And also, Izzy, with no disrespect meant at all to Danny Ward, we've also seen the difference a world-class goalkeeper makes in that first half. Well,
David De Gea, if it's not for him, they're 2-0 down, Manchester United, after the first sort of 10-15 minutes. Just that chance from Harvey Barnes and Iniacho. And he's kept his side in it and given them that platform. And that's what I mean about players stepping up at different times. And I'm going to start it. To win titles, you need your big players to step up at different times throughout the season. And you might think that one game doesn't matter, but every single game matters.
The standard down at the bottom of the table, John, looks increasingly good, and Leicester have obviously pulled themselves away from that. But based on this performance and what we've seen of late, you'd be very surprised if they were down there, wouldn't you?
Oh, very much so. I think Leicester's sights now are set on the top half of the table. But in saying that, they do have to play Arsenal next Saturday. And the other thing that caught my eye is the fact that they're still in the FA Cup this season. Having recent experience, Brendan Rodgers winning the trophy. If you see a significant upturn in Leicester City's form, then maybe FA Cup team this season.
Again, looking very good at the moment. John, Izzy, thank you very much for the time being. So Manchester United lead Leicester by 1-0 at half-time. We'll bring you second half commentary, and then Spurs versus West Ham in full at 4:30. We'll also keep you up to date with the England-Italy game in the Arnold Clark Cup, which kicks off in about 20 minutes' time. And the other football result of the day is Motherwell 2, Hearts 0, a full-time score in the Scottish Premiership. We will take you to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium before second half commentary at Old Trafford, but now we'll get the news on 5 Live with Alison Good.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Police searching for the missing woman, Nicola Bully, say they've recovered a body from the River Wyre in Lancashire, close to where she was last seen. The 45-year-old disappeared more than 3 weeks ago while walking her dog in the village of St Michael's on Wyre. Our reporter Eunice Muller is there. Eunice, what can you tell us? Eunice? Can you hear me?
Well, what Lancashire Police are telling us that they have what they're calling an update on police activity near St Michael's on Wyre. This morning they say that you may be aware of police activity around the river near to St Michael's, and they want to provide as much detail as possible. They're saying that they were called at around 11:36 this morning to reports of a body in the River Wyre close to Rawcliffe Road. That's just approximately around half a mile from the centre of the village of St Michael's on Wyre. An underwater search team and specialist officers have attended the scene and entered the water. I could see a police diver going into the water, and what police are telling us that they sadly recovered a body. They say no formal identification has yet been carried out, but they're unable to say whether this is Nicola Bulley at this time. Procedures, they say, to identify the body are ongoing, and they're currently treating the death as unexplained. Nicola's family have been informed of developments, and they say their thoughts are with them at the most difficult of times.
Eunice Muller, thank you. In other news, Boris Johnson has warned Rishi Sunak it will be a great mistake if he overhauls Northern Ireland's post-Brexit trading arrangements to remove the UK's ability to scrap parts of the deal. The Prime Minister is trying to reach a new agreement with the EU. Rescue teams in Turkey say they're wrapping up their search for survivors of the earthquake which struck 13 days ago. Officials say most efforts will end today. More than 46,000 people are now known to have been killed in Turkey and Syria. And the Scottish Health Secretary Humza Yousaf and the former SNP Minister Ash Regan have announced they will stand to replace Nicola Sturgeon as party leader and First Minister of Scotland. Nicola Sturgeon announced on Wednesday that she would be stepping down.
Exclusive performances by your favourite artists. Together with the BBC Concert Orchestra. From classic tracks to brand new covers.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on.
Radio 2's Piano Room. Watch on iPlayer, listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
And we'll be back at Old Trafford shortly for second half commentary. Manchester United won Leicester City 0 half-time in the Premier League. At 4:30, full commentary of Tottenham against West Ham, having beaten Manchester City. Spurs have had back-to-back defeats, a 4-1 thrashing at Leicester in the Premier League, and then that loss to Milan in the Champions League. Vicky Sparks has joined us from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Afternoon, Vicky.
Good afternoon, Steve.
You just wonder, if Christian Stellini wins again and makes it 3 from 3, you know, he's going to start to get a real relationship with these Spurs fans if he hasn't already.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done a brilliant job, hasn't he, taking over first team duties once again in Antonio Conte's absence, and has been very clear in the same way that you would expect Antonio Conte to be clear. He wants to see a reaction from the start to the last two defeats for Tottenham. I mean, I think the two games you almost have to take in isolation. They played very well against Milan in the Champions League in midweek, but they fell apart defensively in their last Premier League match against Leicester, the 4-1 loss. Now, of course, Christian Romero was missing for that one and was a huge miss for them, and was back for the Champions League game. So that made a big difference for them. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what sort of Tottenham turn them up. But I think, Steve, we could say that throughout the entire season. That has been the issue for Tottenham. What sort of Tottenham will we see? What sort of performance? Because they can be brilliant and they can be pretty boring.
Yeah, what's if only they had an adjective for that that somebody could come up with.
I think it might be Spursy.
Ah, yeah, that's a good one. That's good. Can we talk a bit about Christian Stellini and his comments in the press conference? Because what's really interesting is, you know, you might think a manager would come in and just do exactly the same as the other guy who's normally there. But he's talked about making it more a team effort, less about just one man. It makes Conte sound very much like he's got his fingers in everything, and Stellini has taken a different approach. Yeah,
it was interesting, wasn't it? I mean, I almost took those comments as a reflection on how the coaching staff work as much as anything else, rather than kind of talking more broadly about the team or potentially the input of the players. But yeah, I mean, does it surprise us though? Does it surprise us that Antonio Conte is completely in control of every aspect of his operation? Does it surprise us that he's calling him 3 times a day, and Stellini made the point of saying saying, look, if he calls me in the middle of the night, I'll be there as well. So, it was very honest. It was candid. You do slightly wonder whether Conte might have raised his eyebrows, listening on, as I'm sure he was, from where he's recuperating at his family home in Italy. But it is one of those things. It must be so hard for Conte, a manager who loves to have control, and of course, he trusts his coaching staff, but if he is the one that makes the decisions, then to have to do that from a distance, or delegate certainly on the touchline today against West Ham to Christian Stellini, then it's a challenge for him and for Stellini as well.
And does it surprise us that West Ham are in the relegation zone 22 games into a season?
Yeah, difficult one, isn't it, for them? Just a point, though, below Bournemouth after the results at the weekend. And I think with West Ham, the big question is, have they turned a corner? I mean, they're unbeaten in their last 4 games in all competitions, lost just 1 of their last 5 in the Premier League. And David Moyes will be hoping that the second Spurs that we mentioned turn up today rather than the first one.
Vicky, thank you very much. Much more to come then from Vicky Sparks and Glenn Murray at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We'll start the build-up around about 4 o'clock and it kicks off at 4:30. England's women continue their Arnold Clark Cup campaign. This afternoon, they take on Italy in Coventry, kicks off in 15 minutes. They're unbeaten in 27 games under Sarina Wiegman now, after thrashing South Korea 4-0 in their opener on Thursday. Wiegman is impressed with how the Lionesses have dealt with teams playing more defensively against them.
We've played a couple of teams now that play with 5 or 5-4-1 or just really deep, and I think Korea played a little even deeper than we thought they would. So very tight spaces, and you could see that when we were 3-0 up and we lost the ball at one point, like within 2-3 seconds, the whole team just sprinted to come behind the ball. I think that shows how eager this team is and how we want to learn, we want to become better every day. That's very exciting to work with.
Chris Coles will be watching for us at the CBS Arena. She likes the eagerness of the team. She never looks totally satisfied, does she, Sarina Wiegman?
No, she doesn't, Steve, but I think that's why she's endeared herself to the England faithful, because she's always demanding more from her team, and she's made some interesting changes, Steve, from the opening game of the tournament. 9 in all from that 4-0 win over South Korea. Only Alex Greenwood and Jess Carter keep their places. So it's a real opportunity for some of the fringe players to stake their claim for a place on the plane down under for the World Cup. Full debuts for the likes of Jess Park, Katie Robinson and Laura Coombs. What a journey it's been for the Manchester City midfielder. 2 sub-appearances in 2015. Came off the bench against South Korea on Thursday and now starts for the first time, age 32. Maya Letitia wins her second cap. Ellie Roebuck plays in goal. And Kira Walsh also back in the team after recovering from illness. So plenty of changes and, yeah, big chances for those on the fringes.
And with absolute total respect to the opposition from their last game, South Korea, Italy have won 9 of their 10 matches in World Cup qualifying. This will be a bigger test.
Yeah, it will be. And a lot has been mentioned about the calibre of opposition in this year's Arnold Clark Cup. Last year, you might remember they played numbers 3, 6 and 9 in the world. This time it's 15, 17 and 20. So the pressure is on England to win this competition. And if they were to stumble, then a few doubts might arise. But a stumble feels unlikely. If England can add another trophy to follow the big one they won last year, then the even bigger one they have their eyes on this summer could well become reality. But Italy, they had a brilliant qualifying campaign, although lost their opening game of this year's Arnold Clark Cup, losing very late on to Belgium by 2-1. And Italy, like England, have made plenty of changes, 8 in all. So Italy also looking at several of their fringe members. So I suspect England, as of course they will start as heavy favourites. But Italy, yes, will provide a sterner test, but I'm not sure it's quite as stern as it might have been.
Chris, thank you very much. And the Super League season opening weekend continues. It's Hull FC Castleford this afternoon, just underway. Dave Woods is watching.
It is. Lightning start by Hull. It's still 0-0, but they've started on the front foot here. New coach for them, Tony Smith, this year. 4 debutants on show today, including scrum half Jake Clifford, who yet has the potential to be one of the best signings of this season. Our good friend Pat Murphy talks about the immutable law of the X. Former players who come back to haunt their old clubs. Well, Castleford have 6 ex-Hull players in their ranks and an ex-Hull coach in Lee Radford. They've got a couple of debuts as well, Gareth Winnop and Jacob Miller in the Haas, but it's Hull who are really pressing hard in the early stages. 0-0 with 2 minutes play.
Dave, thank you very much. So 4:30 this afternoon, full commentary of Tottenham versus West Ham in the Premier League. But before we get to that, we've got the second half from Old Trafford. Manchester United leading Leicester City by 1-0, and Izzy Christensen's with John Murray.
Half-time break seems to have whizzed by, and here we are, ready for the start of the second half, with Manchester United leading Leicester by 1-0. Marcus Rashford's goal. But a change, a substitution for Manchester United at the start of the second half, and it's Garnacho who is off, and Jadon Sancho comes on. Here's the reception for him. Well, he wasn't going to stay it there for a minute. But Sancho is on. I mean, it could be a problem, could be an injury that Garnacho has got, but he did not have the best of first halves.
No, I think hopefully he's not injured, but yeah, I think it looked to me like it's tactical, John. I think defensively he was really poor. And yeah, I think that Leicester were quite successful progressing down the right-hand side with the full-back joining in. And Garnacho couldn't really deal with him, so I think it's a challenge now for Jadon Sancho to come on and do a better job.
So Sancho is on, and actually just for the time being, Sancho is actually in a central area, but let's just see how things settle down. So Weghorst has gone through the middle and Rashford's on the left-hand side, so let's just see how things settle down before I run through the teams in full. But Bruno Fernandes playing it down the right, and now Dalot does really well and whips the ball right across the 6-yard box, where Castagna wasn't sure where Rashford was, just popped it straight behind for a corner.
Yeah, it was a perfect ball across the 6-yard line from Dalot. We've seen so much quality in this game from full-back areas, and that was another example of it. But yeah, Weghorst turned round and applauded him, but I'm sure Dalot's saying back to him, well, why weren't you on the end of it?
Which would be a very good question. And actually that's another thing that we could have mentioned at the end of the first half, the fact that Dalot really should have scored in the first half to make it 2-0. So it could either team could have a healthy lead in this match. In fact, it's 1-0 Manchester United. This corner is taken short this time from the left in front of the Stretford end. Shaw and Bruno Fernandes together are in danger of losing it altogether. And actually the ball rolls out of play. Fernandes thought he was fouled. He's complaining about that. Went down holding his thigh after the challenge came in on him. And referee Atwell very simply said, nope, throw in Leicester City. And they've won another one up the right-hand side.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting about this change, John, is that Rashford's now out on the left. And that's where Leicester City had most of their success in the first half, with Castagna moving forwards. So now what's he going to do? Is he going to commit forwards and leave that space with Marcus Rashford? I think it's really, really smart from Ten Hag to do that tactical tweak of personnel.
Yeah, and they have stayed there as Mendy is picked up for a foul. Sancho is involved, but it was the initial challenge actually. It's a yellow card as well for the challenge on Rashford. It was a kind of 50-50, and Mendy, well, referee Atwell has seen that as using excessive force, the way that Mendy went in for that. And again, there is a kind of, I don't know whether it's stage disbelief or genuine disbelief, but it is a yellow card. It's a booking for Mendy.
Yeah, it's soft, isn't it, John? I can understand why it's been given. His foot does come off the floor, but he's got full intention to go for the ball. You can just see in the pleading from James Maddison and Mendy himself, you know, that they know that it's soft from the referee.
Yellow card though for Nampalys Mendy. Manchester United with this free kick on the left. Shaw is going to take it, curls it in, and that is headed off the top of the crossbar. Here goes Dalot. Or Martinez, was it? Martinez, who got in there, the central defender, yes it was. And it clipped the top of the bar on the way over the top, put his hands on his head, and the chance is gone.
Yeah, he knows he should score that. It's a free header almost. The ball in from Luke Shaw, outswing left-footed delivery, and Martinez is all alone, and he's headed it back across Danny Ward. Should have scored.
So, crossbar hit, but here's Weghorst, edge of the area, turning and shooting into the defender, which deflected it wide across the penalty area. And out of play, closer to the corner flag than the goal. But corner Manchester United, who are on top now in the second half.
Yeah, they found their flow again really quickly, John. Weghorst, if he can just open his body up a little bit more, Rashford's there for the tap-in, or even unmarked on that far side.
No short corner this time. Shaw takes it in. Leicester head at the near post, comes across the box, and is played by Sancho, who had Leicester's Dewsbury Hall bearing down on him. Sancho played it back to near the centre circle, and Manchester United now with Fernandes left-footed shot from the right-hand side, but straight at Ward, just above his head, and he was able to leap and catch the ball and then underarm it out quickly. I will run you through the teams as they are now in full in a moment or two, but that's a poor ball from Iheanacho, which was deflected into the patch of Sabitzer, and now Manchester United, Rashford running at Sousa, he's away from him, and he shoots straight at the goalkeeper, who blocks it with his legs. Ward out to the Manchester United left, where it is still in play, and Bruno Fernandes with a volley at the back post, deflected. Sabitzer heads it down, comes back out to Sabitzer, who couldn't get his head to it properly, and Maddison now gives it away and holds his face in shock that he's presented Manchester United with the ball, and then Sabitzer, Tete stepped in front of him. Sabitzer caught him actually. Tete, the two of them have hurt themselves, both got back up, play still continues. Fred, you'd have thought Rashford would have been a cert to score that when he was through. Fred playing it through, but Christensen has it back for Leicester, and now Barnes gets it down on the left hand side. A rare Leicester City attack in this second period. Barnes, Christensen on the overlap, he looks up, another touch, Christensen's cross, Tete at the back post, but Shaw was able to step forward and head it down for Manchester United, and it is the home side again who come forward. Bruno Fernandes and Sancho, and then back it goes into Manchester United territory.
Yeah, we need to breathe here, and God knows how the players are feeling. That passage of play must have lasted over a minute. It was end to end. It's like basketball, both teams in transition. There was no foul on Sabitzer, which actually kept the momentum of the game. Really entertaining stuff.
Yes, it is. Still 1-0. And Maddison now finds Barnes, left side of the box, two United players with him, leaves it to Maddison, and Sabitzer stepped in. Maddison went down, free kick Leicester. Left of centre, between 20 and 25 yards out. Just caught Maddison.
Yeah, I can see his consistency from the referee giving that free kick, just like the one previously to Mendy. You know, he's got to set a precedent with the referee, and that's a foul. That's Sabitzer on Maddison. The ball was just dropped short of Maddison by Harvey Barnes, and Maddison just gets there first, and this is James Maddison territory, John.
It is not much contact there, I don't think, from Sabitzer. Maddison, as Izzy said, just stepped in, just got there ahead of him, and Sabitzer placed his foot forward at pace and maybe just caught his heel. Down went Maddison, free kick, but a great position for James Maddison, almost in the classic style. If you said to James Maddison, where would you like to take a free kick from, James, he'd put the ball round about here. So standing to his right, Dewsbury Hall, but surely there's only one man for this. James Maddison with the free kick for Leicester City here at Old Trafford. Little tiptoes, then the shot into the wall, bounces down, back to Maddison, who slices his effort, much to the amusement of Manchester United supporters, right across into the full back area. Tete is taking on Rashford with a kind of Anthony-style series of little jigs, but across comes Shaw after it bounced away, and he just blasted it out of play off the Leicester City man for a throw into Manchester United. So after all that, it remains Manchester United 1, Leicester City 0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and the Super League match is well underway now. Hull FC against Castleford. Dave Woods.
Nice throwing start by Hull, 11 minutes played. They lead 10-0. Darnell McIntosh to finish the first one from a wonderful Texhoy pass. Brad Dwyer with a break from dummy half, setting up the second from Liam Sutcliffe. Clifford's got for the conversion, but 10-0 Hull lead Cass.
And a chance for Manchester United for Weghorst. Back to goal, 8 yards out. Went for the overhead kick, but ballooned it high over the bar.
He was almost too tall to try what he was trying. He ran out of space. But a super counter-attack for Manchester United. It started off with a pass from Jadon Sancho, which disguised, which set Dalot off down the middle of the pitch. It was wonderful disguise on the pass. It's looked really sharp so far since he's come on. Jadon Sancho, real maturity about his play I'm seeing.
And Manchester United come again. It was a flowing move. It was Dalot actually again who really carried the ball forward for Manchester United on that last attack while you were listening to Dave. And Manchester United moving towards the Stretford end, actually turn and head back towards the halfway line. Red shirts, white shorts and black socks here at Old Trafford. Leicester in their first choice colours, the all blue with the white trim in Manchester United with Sancho, who's on the right-hand side just here. But Fernandes, wider, left-footed ball in beyond Rashford at the back post and all the way through for a goal kick. So the way that Manchester United are shaping up in this second half, De Gea in goal, 2 really important saves early on in the first half. Could break the club record for clean sheets today. Dalot, Lindelof, Martinez and Shaw. Then Fred and Sabitzer. Remember, Casemiro's suspended, completing his domestic suspension today. Leicester struggling to get the ball away from the back, which they do though now over to the left-hand side, where Barnes is taking it on against Dalot. Barnes carrying the ball so nicely, lovely balance. Christensen now, his low ball across, deflected into the path of Lindelof, who was able to clear it away. The rest of the Manchester United lineup, so Bruno Fernandes now on the right, Sancho in the middle, Rashford on the left, and Weghorst, who played in the number 10 role for most of the first half, as the centre forward again. Throw-in taken by Leicester City. Sunshine, weak sunshine, comes out on Old Trafford as Manchester United clear it away. Headed forward by Dewsbury Hall. Shaw in the midfield area, beats Tete to it, and Manchester United come forward again. Martinez up to Fred, nice touch from Fred, rolls it through. Rashford away from Castagna. 2-0, 2 goals for Rashford. This time slipped it under the goalkeeper and into the net. A double for Rashford, 2 for Manchester United, and they have a clear lead now, 2-0. But the offside flag is up and the goal is back in the balance. VAR having a look at this. Well, Rashford ran from inside his own half as it was played forward by Martinez. Fred, yeah. And I think it is the right call. I think he's the length of his foot offside.
Yeah, well, his fullback that he's up against, Castagna, is appealing. He's got his arms out at the linesman, and judging by what we've got on our screen, it does look offside, but
they're having to take time here to find the line, because the player involved, the defender who was furthest back, might be Fass in the middle, but he looked as though he was beyond Castagna, who was the player closest to him. But it's Ian Husson who's the assistant on the far side, and if he's got this right, that is a very, very good play. But he hasn't. It was onside. VAR has given that, and now Old Trafford knows it, and Rashford can celebrate his 24th goal of the season in front of the Stretford end. The players were ready for restart, but VAR ruled that he was onside. Fass over in the middle was playing him on, and it is Manchester United 2, Leicester City 0.
Yeah, it was tight, wasn't it, John? And hence why it's gone to VAR. But that slipped pass through from Fred on the half turn, beautifully weighted into the path of Marcus Rashford. And just when he gets into those positions, he's unstoppable at the moment. He just slides the ball between Danny Ward's legs. Again, just that bit of play for Manchester United. I'm going to say again, John, the tactical tweak from Erik ten Hag to bring Rashford out on this side, up against Castagna on this left-hand side, to stop him from getting forward, to pin the Leicester City defence back, opens up the space, and Rashford, there he is again.
So Old Trafford celebrates. It looks like another 3 points coming here at Old Trafford today. Brendan Rodgers making a couple of changes, Mendy and Dewsbury Hall. So the 2 central midfielders coming off. And Yuri Tillemans makes his return, having missed the match against Tottenham last weekend with a calf problem. And also coming on for Leicester City into the midfield is Boubakary Soumare, who is likewise returning from injury. He's been out for the last 6 matches with a hamstring problem. So 2 changes for Leicester City in the central midfield. But at 2-0 now, it would appear that this match will be beyond Leicester City, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's a tough task back. I was just interested to see, or to know, John, we might not ever know whether those changes would have happened whether they were planned to happen at 1-0.
There's a collision here between Shaw and Castagna. Castagna bursting down the right. Shaw slid in to make the tackle. A clean tackle it was, but the two players have collided. I think Castagna landed on top of Shaw, who will just need a moment to recover from this. Did I see as well that Fred has come off and Scott McTominay has made his return for Manchester United? That is timely with the Barcelona game and the cup final next weekend. So having missed the last 7 matches, Scott McTominay with a leg muscle injury. Scott McTominay is back on the field and Fred is off. Play resumed. Shaw's okay. Ball kept in by Castagna on the right. Swings over the cross. Maddison. Leicester City need a quick response here if they're going to have a chance of getting anything at all out of this match. 2-0 down now. 2 Rashford goals, 1 in each half. Castagna, Tielemans, and then Leicester City go back to the halfway line. So Leicester City having brought on those two, Soumare and Tielemans, to play in central midfield. Ward in goal, Castagna, Suter, Fass and Christensen. Then the 2 substitutes, Tete, Maddison, Barnes and Iheanacho, the Leicester City lineup as it is right now. And Tielemans passing it forward to Iheanacho on the halfway line, who was challenged well by Martinez, who win it back, and Rashford to Sancho, and Sancho now to Fernandes, back to Sancho! 3-0 Manchester United. Leicester City opened up here at Old Trafford. That was slick and quick and clinical, and Sancho scores at Old Trafford again and celebrates, and Manchester United now 3-0 and 3 points coming again for them.
Just talking about the maturity of Jadon Sancho's play, John, and that goal just screams intelligence, comfortable of playing in that role, and just the combination with Bruno Fernandes. The initial move comes from Martinez just stepping in, winning the ball. Rashford feeds Sancho, passes it wide to Fernandes, and then he just slots it home past Danny Ward. But that goal is just high level from Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes with another contribution. I'm so delighted for Jadon Sancho after the journey he's been on recently to come back into the side and score a goal like that.
Brilliantly worked. Rashford, Sancho, Fernandes, back to Sancho, left foot, 8 yards out, planted it centrally into the back of the goal. Maybe a question of whether Martinez fouled Iheanacho on the halfway line. I mean, it looked like a good challenge. It was physical between the two of them there.
It was.
Was it a foul, do you think?
Could have been given. Could have been.
Here's Shaw now to the edge of the area, right foot, but couldn't finish on the right foot, and Ward was able to drop to his left and fall on it, really.
Yeah, they're finding the rhythm now, Manchester United, even more than they had before. And that full-back Luke Shaw coming in field, finding himself in those pockets, and why not carry on your run? And he moves the ball onto his right foot. Pretty tame shot in the end at Danny Ward.
With 3-0 Manchester United, and this is a handsome win now against this informed Leicester City team, who could easily have been a couple of goals up early on in the match. David De Gea playing his part, so an excellent team performance really from Manchester United. And what we're watching here, this has been a great example of Erik ten Hag, Manchester United. All the hallmarks, the changes that he's made, the players that he's brought in, without Weghorst playing his part. That's been such a judgment call, that, hasn't it, by Erik ten Hag?
With Weghorst?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, John. I think that he's been used very intelligently by his manager, picking up different areas. He's not got much pace at all, has he? But what he does have is presence, and I'm actually watching his work rate off the ball. It's not the first time this afternoon that I've seen him track back for his team, win the ball. It's kind of like, it's not always about having big names in that front line. It's sometimes about having the right rapport across the front three and the front four, and he's certainly given platform.
3-0 as the ball is played forward, and Wout Weghorst is the judge to have he's been pulled up for a foul, tugging away at Suter. Leicester City coming vainly forward with Maddison, with McTominay, running with him. Then Barnes to the left-hand side to Christensen. And Christensen puts his foot on the ball and plays it back to Tielemans in a central area. And so 2 goals from Rashford, 1 from Sancho. As from the right-hand side, Tete takes on Martinez and then shoots goalwards with his left foot, but a cross goal and well wide of the far post. So 3-0 Manchester United here at Old Trafford. Over on the other side of the Pennines, far on the other side of the Pennines, Dave Woods in the Super League.
Hull, I can still hear you though, John. Hull 16, Castleford 6, Darnell McIntosh 7, second try in the 15th minute, and Hull looked like they were going to run away with it, but Bretta Framos just steadied the Cas ship with a try in the right corner. Hull 16, Cas 6.
And the England-Italy match is, what, not long underway with you, Chris Coles, in Coventry?
It's 9 minutes old, John, and the Coventry sunshine. England 0, Italy 0, but England dominating already. Excellent chances for Rachel Daly, shooting from an angle, well saved by the goalkeeper, and Jess Park shooting over. England on top, but still 0-0.
Thank you, Chris. Manchester United coming forward here to buoyant Old Trafford now, winning a corner, another corner over on the right. Bruno Fernandes, who's played a key role in 2 of the goals that Manchester United have scored. Fernandes is going to take this from way over there on the far side, and stepping away, right-footed now, hits it to the edge of the box, but Castagna came across and was able to head it away near the edge of the area to Luke Shaw. Just over a quarter of the match to play, so plenty of time to go. Shaw, left-footed, scoops a long one forward, looking for Rashford, who's on the hat-trick, but it's headed away by Castagna, but it bounces out of play off Soumare for a throw to Manchester United, which is taken back towards Lindelof. Shaw then steps in. Manchester United knocking it around with a real swagger now. Martinez near the halfway line. Yeah, it could have been given as a foul by him, that challenge on Iheanacho near the halfway line. Debatable. Might be Leicester City supporters on with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton later on 606 who say that even then Manchester United had the 2-0 lead, and Erik ten Hag, perhaps with the matches coming up, is thinking about making another couple of changes. Elanga and Wan-Bissaka coming on for Rashford and Shaw, we understand. So if Rashford wants his hat-trick, he's going to have to get it in the next move probably. As Scott McTominay now, tall, fair-haired, over the halfway line, those black socks pulled right up over his knees as he likes to do. Back to McTominay again. Barcelona coming here on Thursday night. That would be some game. There's Rashford now looking to exchange it with Sabitzer on the left-hand side, but that comes to nothing. But then Tielemans is challenged. Manchester United all over Leicester now. The confidence of 3 goals. Maddison into the challenge, but Lindelof wins that against Maddison. Sabitzer again to Sancho. Sancho just a little foot in from Castagna. A back heel from Tete. Tielemans trying to take it away from Weghorst, who rather dives in there with a challenge from behind. Maybe got the ball, but certainly got the man, and it's a free kick to Leicester City.
Yeah, a scrappy bit of play from both teams. Weghorst again putting a tackle in for his team. You know, just as you were saying, John, Rashford, as he's coming off here, it'll be interesting to see his embrace or lack of with Erik ten Hag. If he's annoyed at his manager bringing him off when he's on a hat-trick. Yeah. Just keep him hungry though, keep him hungry.
Elanga coming on for him, but it's been another goal-scoring day for Marcus Rashford at Old Trafford. 24 now for this season for him, with great power to add. A little pat on the head from Erik ten Hag as he walked past.
Yeah, it was the same. It was a smile. I could see there was a cheeky smile from ten Hag to say, save him for Thursday night.
So that is 16 goals in his last 17 appearances since the World Cup. 16 and 17, 24 for the season. This is best goal scoring season now for Manchester United. Scored in now on the halfway line. Weghorst sends Sancho away through. Sancho shoots, deflected. Back to Sancho, who shoots then high over the crossbar, and a quarter of the way up the Stretford end. Almost 4.
I'll tell you what, that vision from Weghorst to release Sancho, and Sancho backed him to score then, but it was that covering challenge from Faz central defender Leicester City coming across for the second phase. But that bit of play from Weghorst, how he's seen Sancho then, I don't know. He's got vision of Casemiro.
Well, you know what I said about Neymar with Chris Waddle last week. Neymar, about Weghorst, he's got about 5 players in one. They thought he'd come to score goals, but no, he's so much more than that. 3-0 Manchester United, 5 Live and BBC Sounds if you're on the move on a Sunday afternoon. Commentary on Tottenham West Ham to come. Bruno Fernandes carrying the ball forward, went between 2 Leicester players, Fass and Soumare went down, and that is a free kick to Manchester United again, who have just left Leicester behind in the second half.
Yeah, they've really shifted through the gears towards the end of the first half, and they picked up in the second half exactly where they'd left it in the first. I think they've just been a class above Leicester City after absorbing the early pressure, and there's still 20 minutes to play. You know, they could really sink them here. Manchester United, they've been outstanding in certain parts of this game. So
Manchester United with the free kick, Bruno Fernandes to take this, curls it in, Weghorst with a header across the face of goal and beyond the far post.
Again, just a free header. It's a free header from the tallest man in the box, Weghorst. He glances it past. I just don't know how he's not being marked. How is nobody getting tight enough to him to even just make it uncomfortable for him? It's Christensen who's the closest to him.
3-0 Manchester United. So Leicester with the ball inside their own half. Fass finds Christensen. Now out to the left-hand side, Harvey Barnes. Blue shirt still sweeping forward here. Again, getting the men in the box. But it goes square. Then Tielemans picks out Christensen on the left-hand side. Low ball into the near post, cleared away by Lindelof. What Manchester United will want now as well, of course, is the clean sheet too, to go with what will be the victory, the latest victory for Eric Ten Hag's side that will take them to 49 points. Wan-Bissaka now involved on the right-hand side, ball across, Weghorst sliding in, but the defender Castagna came across as well and actually slid in, and it might have been Castagna, it was, says referee Atwell, who actually got the touch to send it wide of goal and behind for a corner.
Yeah, it's superb covering from Castagna from that right back position, coming across into the centre of the goal. He's got 2v1 at the back post, he's outnumbered, but he just senses the danger, and as Weghorst is about to pull the trigger, gets across. It's really good defending from Castagna.
Corner then, Bruno Fernandes to take this. I sense there was a certain edginess about this match for Manchester United, coming as it does between the Barcelona games with the cup final next Sunday, but they've left that behind. Bruno Fernandes with this deep corner, Martinez with the header, which lands on the top of the back of the net as it looped over the crossbar, and it's a goal kick for Leicester. So yes, you will hear that Manchester United-Barcelona match live from here at Old Trafford on Thursday night on 5 Live. On Wednesday, Ian Dennis and Matt Upson actually will be in Germany for the first leg of RB Leipzig against Manchester City. Tuesday night, don't miss it, Liverpool against Real Madrid live from Anfield. That is on 5 Live. And then next Sunday as well, 5 Live, the place to listen to the Carabao Cup final. The only place that you'll be able to hear all of that which I have just described. Here's Dalot inside his own half, now playing as left back. Going to get the team news from Tottenham in a moment. But here's Wan-Bissaka now, having come on at right back, hence Dalot at left back. Bruno Fernandes over there. McTominay. And you can see the confidence now in these Manchester United players as they continue to build this move. Fernandes, cross field, bounces once, taken down by Elanga on the top of his right thigh, then takes on Castagna, left-footed cross to the near post, which is headed away by Tielemans, and it will bounce out of play for a throw. So, come in from Tottenham, Vicky Sparks with the team news.
Richarlison is in for Son, who drops to the bench in one of 3 changes from Tottenham's loss to AC Milan. Højbjerg and Davis replace Sarr and Perisic. Souček is in for the injured Paquetá, and down to replaces Ben Rama in West Ham's 2 changes.
So you'll hear commentary on Tottenham West Ham with Vicky and Glenn Murray from 4:30, and we'll start to build up to that after this match. 6:06 will follow with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Read all about today's football on the football pages of the BBC Sport website and app, and Match of the Day 2 tonight on the television, and of course anytime on the iPlayer, and then in the morning you'll be able to hear all of the analysis from the 5 Live Football Daily podcast, where right now on Sounds you'll get the TMS podcast after England's win in New Zealand during the night. Another 2 changes for Leicester from Brendan Rodgers, Dennis Pratt and Jamie Vardy coming on. Jamie Vardy getting a warm welcome from Old Trafford, and Tete and Iheanacho are being replaced. So Jamie Vardy is on up front, and those changes, number 3 and 4 for Leicester City in the match. And Bruno Fernandes with the ball on the right hand side as Sancho tries to take it on, but just got a heavy touch on that, and Maddison then loses out, and Manchester United have got it in the centre circle. Lindelof slides in on Vardy, and that was a proper 50-50, and he had to be careful there, Lindelof. He went into it at pace. Vardy was coming in as well. Vardy, incidentally, you might have picked up, was also met by choruses of Rooney, and you probably know the backstory there. Don't think we need to go into that, Izzy.
No, I'm glad you didn't come to me on that one.
No,
like you asked me to explain Marcus Rashford's celebration. I don't know, and I don't know with that one.
I think generally probably the majority of listeners will have a greater idea of that particular story. So less than 15 minutes to play. Manchester United leading Leicester by 3-0. And more news from away to the east from Dave Woods in the Super League.
We have electricity here as well. It's now Hull 24, Castleford 6. Adam Swift's just scored a brace of tries. Hull are playing superbly today, and in this first half, with still 6 minutes to go to half time, they lead Castleford by 24 points to 6.
Yes, Dave's been busy the first few days of the new Super League season. I was listening to the commentary on Friday night, and if you get a chance to listen to that, the access that we have for our Super League commentaries in terms of players, the interviews, Dave's sitting in the stands speaking away, the players have just finished the match, headphones on. It's a great listen, so whenever we're doing Super League commentary, listen out for that. Manchester United leading Leicester by 3-0 here in the Premier League. Lindelof was almost caught in possession. In fact, he was just caught there by Maddison as he played it away. The referee's going to speak to Maddison. I think that is going to be it. Yeah, it's a final warning.
He's fully entitled to go for the ball, James Maddison. Lindelof's the last man. Maddison's got close enough to apply pressure to him. Lindelof's, he's caught him a little bit, but come on.
Yeah, Lindelof back to his feet, and in actual fact, it was almost as much. Maddison came in, but Lindelof, in clearing the ball, actually caught Maddison's outstretched leg with his boot. But he's okay, and he's going to be able to continue. And we have around about 12 minutes to play here at Old Trafford. And Martinez will take this free kick for Manchester United. Long one through the middle, headed away by Fass. McTominay now. McTominay flicks it towards the right-hand side. And that's a lovely skip between 2 players. He's away from Maddison, actually. Sancho out to the right-hand side. Sancho then gets it back. Sancho with Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka now on the ball, gives it back to Sancho. And really, they're leading Leicester City's players a merry dance over there, and that's why you can hear the olays. They are just popping it around there as if it's on the training ground.
Yeah, it was quality bit of play between Sancho and Wan-Bissaka. They must have exchanged the ball about 8 or 9 times between each other then, in a really short space, and they've got the crowd going now, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, and Sancho enjoying the moment as well, having scored again. Remember, he scored at Leeds United since his return, so 2 goals since his return, 5 now for the season. And he does look as though he is a man revitalised. And again, I think you have to point to Erik ten Hag for the way that he's dealt with the problems, he said, both mental and physical, that Jadon Sancho has been struggling with.
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably a whole host of things he's had to deal with. Sancho taking that number 7 shirt at Old Trafford last season, playing here, missing out on the World Cup squad. There's heaps of things as a player really difficult to deal with, and for his manager to give him the time to rejuvenate himself, and the way he's come back into the side in that number 10 role, floating out onto the right, he's looking like a changed man.
Well, Savitzer's coming off, and we're going to see Kobbie Mainoo, the young man. He's a local boy, born in Stockport, England Youth International, and this is his first appearance in the Premier League for the 17-year-old. Been at the club since he was 9 years old. They love an academy product at Manchester United. They love an academy product at any football club, but particularly so here with the history. So he comes on for the last knockings of this match for another milestone in his career.
Yeah, this is a really big moment. Substantial minutes as well. 17 years old, coming into the middle of the park, 10 minutes to find his rhythm, feel the game. Really good opportunity for him.
So on he comes, the number 73. The players get younger, the numbers get higher, and De Gea clears the ball from inside his penalty area right through the middle. He's got the sun in his eyes there. De Gea, goalkeeper at the other end, all in slate grey. Ward clearing downfield. That's played infield by Pratt. Might run all the way to Maddison. Wan-Bissaka came across with him. Maddison against Mainoo, the 17-year-old turns and shoots into him, but Mainoo gets the applause for throwing himself into the line of fire and blocking the Maddison shot, and now Elanga carrying it away towards the halfway line where Tielemans puts in the challenge to knock it out of play.
Just mesmerised by the way that James Maddison holds onto the ball, the way he turns, shifts. Mainoo does really well to stay with him and stop the shot. And then that second bit of play from Tielemans, recovering back to tackle Elanga, it was a super bit of play. I love that attitude of players to make recovering challenges when they've lost the ball.
That's Izzy Christiansen with us here on 5 Live. Tottenham against West Ham to come from 4:30. Castagna having a challenge for the ball on the halfway line. It bounced all the way back to Wout Faes, and he's carrying the ball, hair flowing deep into the Manchester United half, but United are able to recover possession and play it back downfield to Leicester. Christensen now on the left-hand side. This is for Barnes to chase. Oh, that's a mistimed challenge from Lindelof, who came across, or did he take the ball clearly? He got the ball clearly.
Just about got the ball, yeah.
Barnes was looking to hurdle it, and he actually just caught the end of the ball, so it's out of play for a throw-in to Leicester down the left-hand side, level with the edge of the Manchester United box. That is taken to Barnes by Christiansen, and then just popped out of play by Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, another couple of assists for him in the Premier League today. I think it's actually that third goal that would probably be the pick of them for Manchester United. Rashford with the 2, but it's the Sancho goal, which, as we said at the time, could have been given as a free kick against Manchester United on the halfway line. But once Martinez had won it, the throw-in's taken for Leicester. Barnes clips it across. It's gone all the way for Pratt to hit the shot, which is deflected off Dalot, which took it wide and behind. Manchester United now, you can see Martinez, these defenders and goalkeeper De Gea want this clean sheet, but it's a corner to Leicester.
Yeah, they do. It's a good block from Dalot.
Corner taken short to Maddison. Pratt stretched for it. It's cleared away by Martinez, but only back to Tielemans. Now Maddison on the right-hand side curls the ball across to the back post, where it's headed up and away by Dalot. Comes out to Suter, whose touch was heavy, and it might have bounced behind, or did it? No, it didn't. He was able to get there and play it off Wan-Bissaka, and it's a corner.
It looked like the ball had gone out, didn't it, on the far side? But again, that ball in from Maddison, he just oozes quality, doesn't he? Everything that he does is just perfection, the way he guides the ball into the box.
Corner then for Leicester from the left-hand side. We've just seen the replay. Was it out?
Yeah, it looked it to me.
Yeah. Corner from the left-hand side for Leicester. Swung into the near post, but that's headed away. United head on that. Tielemans nods it back into the box. Headed away by Lindelof. Comes out to Pratt. Pratt, though, crowded out. Shot from the edge of the area from Barnes. That's blocked. Comes back to Barnes, who flicks it back to Tielemans, who will play it back to the centre circle. And Christensen now to the left-hand side. Oh, it's behind Soumaré, and it's out of play, and it's a throw into Manchester United, and they take it quickly up to Jadon Sancho, who actually carried the ball out of play for a throw-in. So very much Manchester United's day. 5 minutes left to play at Old Trafford. Here is Christensen. So this Leicester City upturn in form has stopped in its tracks, but they're involved in a really interesting game next Saturday afternoon when Leicester are at home to the leaders, Arsenal. And you will hear that. That's our 3 o'clock commentary next Saturday afternoon on 5 Live, so don't miss that with Ian Dennis and the team as Leicester, through Pratt, play a long ball over the top, and Wan-Bissaka's able to head it back to goalkeeper De Gea.
Yeah, I think the way in which Arsenal are going to have to prepare for Leicester City, you know, they've got to be really, really careful about how they approach the game tactically, because not to mention the first 15 minutes of this game could have been very, very different if Leicester City converted those first couple of chances they had. But I'm seeing signs right up here now until the 85th minute in Leicester's play that really resembles really good attitude, playing as a team, some really high moments of quality, especially from James Maddison. I'm just looking at a team here who will be very difficult to play against, whoever they come up against.
And that includes Barcelona, who I think are playing tonight, aren't they, Barcelona, in the league. Here is Martinez, who turns and plays it back towards his own penalty area. So Arsenal top with 54 points, Manchester City 52 points, and Manchester United will have 49 as the ball is played through the middle but just runs away from Barnes, stretching for it against Wan-Bissaka, and runs through to De Gea. And Arsenal will have played 23, whereas Manchester City and Manchester United will have each played 24. So they're in it. Manchester United.
They really are. They're well within it, and I think they're in a comfortable position in terms of not many people are talking about them. Going about their business very well, judging by what I've seen today. Here, I just think they're just getting better and better each game. Manchester United, they're becoming more accomplished with each other, and the movements on and off the ball, what the manager wants.
Well, hopefully here live from Eric Ten Hag on 5 Live Sport this afternoon before Tottenham West Ham kicks off. And Manchester United with the ball inside their own half. McTominay is going to run the ball away over the halfway line, then slips it forward. Sancho on the run, Weghorst ahead of him. Alanga's there as well, but Sancho takes it on, and Weghorst with a chance but shoots into the legs of Ward as he quickly came out at the feet of the big Dutchman.
Yeah, he's got to score. Weghorst slip balling couldn't have been any better than Jadon Sancho. And Weghorst, he needed a goal today.
Yeah, another opportunity for him, not able to convert, still looking for that first Premier League goal without Weghorst. And now he has Menu, who will right foot play the ball into the area, up towards Weghorst, who juggles it with his head and then couldn't, with his back to goal, turn. So Manchester United with Fernandes, Weghorst again with a header, but that's into Suter, comes out once more. He's not going to get another opportunity, is he, here in this attack? Fernandes, left-footed ball in again, looking for Elanga at the back post, but Leicester City were able to hold out and clear that one. Dalot now into the edge of the penalty area. Menu trying to find a way through inside the box. It bounces out off a defender to Elanga. Then Menu couldn't find the pass across the penalty area, and Tielemans was able to clear, and it ends up back with David De Gea. So 3-0 Manchester United, the last minutes of this game. And half-time in the Super League with you, Dave Woods.
Yes, Hull 26, Castleford 6. Hull imperious in that first half. 5 tries, including a brace apiece for Darnell McIntosh on one wing and Adam Swift on the other. Lots of magic down the middle. 26-6, Hull lead.
And in the Arnold Clark Cup, the 3:15 kickoff, it was England 0, Italy 0. Last time we heard from Chris Coles.
Not anymore, John. Breakthrough for England. The goal from the WSL's joint top scorer Rachel Daly, enjoying her time up front for England these days, heading in from 6 yards. Deserved lead for England. They have a 1-0 lead over Italy, 5 minutes to play until half-time.
So England in front, the ball inside the Leicester City penalty area, but it wouldn't fall for anyone in a red shirt, and Leicester were able to clear.
Almost another beautiful bit of forward play for Manchester United, combining Sancho, Bruno Fernandes, who's tried to lay it off into the path of Weghorst again, almost too perfectly, that got intercepted by the Leicester City defender. But some of this forward play for Manchester United today has been unbelievable, John.
All of the Manchester United non-playing squad members who were sitting to our left have just disappeared down to the dressing room, including Harry Maguire, not involved today because of a knee problem, we were told, but seems to be moving okay. You know, on the basis of that, doesn't look as though it's anything too serious. Martinez plays it to Alanga into the box on the left-hand side, low ball into the near post. Ward went down, but it was blocked by Suter, and Leicester City were able to clear. And watching on from the other end, we shouldn't forget about David De Gea's contribution. If he's able to keep a clean sheet, it'll be a new club record. His 179th clean sheet. 4 minutes of added time. Ball over the top. Vardy's running onto this. Vardy, ball bounces down. Shot from Maddison, deflects well wide. Came off the back of Martinez, which took him well wide of the goal.
Yeah, it was such a good ball forward from Leicester with Vardy on the pitch now, giving Leicester City that outlet down the middle with the ball over the top, and the ball's just bounced into the path of James Maddison, and who else would you want it to fall for but him in that area? Ended up being blocked, but again, Leicester City just finishing the game in a really positive way. I think will please the manager very much.
In front of 73,578 people, some of whom are actually heading to the exits now. 3-0 up Manchester United. Corner to be taken by Maddison for Leicester to the back post. Suter couldn't get there for Leicester. Comes back to Soumare on his right foot. Soumare back to Tielemans. Tielemans is able to work the pass on his left foot to the far side to Barnes, and then back it goes towards the halfway line. So we're into the 4 minutes of added time now. To the edge of the area for Leicester again. Header won by Castagna but cleared away by Manchester United. Bounces off Fass, and then forward from McTominay for Bruno Fernandes, who gets ahead to the ball and tried to play through for Alanga, but Dennis Pratt was just able to recover and poke it back to goalkeeper Ward.
Yeah, he was almost trying to be too deft there, Bruno Fernandes, with the slipped pass into Alanga, who'd made the forward run. It was the right idea from Fernandes.
Nice dummy from Barnes to allow the ball to run to Vardy near the edge of the penalty area. Then Maddison steps around McTominay, still going. Maddison with the shot on the left foot, but close enough for De Gea to fall to his right and catch the ball into his midriff.
He's just gliding past players like they're not there. Within 2 or 3 touches, James Maddison has just eliminated the whole Manchester United midfield. He's so good on the ball. His close control, his balance, low centre of gravity, and the way that he moves the ball, he's up there with surely one of the best in the Premier League in that number 10 role when he's in form.
So 3-0 Manchester United. I think the key moment is that moment in the 25th minute when Bruno Fernandes, after Wout Fass's sort of aimless pass out from the back, that was the initial error from Leicester, just presented the ball back to Manchester United, and then Fernandes spotted the Rashford run, and Rashford's pace, that's what it was that made the difference. Looked on the naked eye to me as though he was offside, but he wasn't. He was being played on by Suter, who was further towards the middle of the field, ran through and drove it in. The shot from the angle was so sure from Rashford, gave Ward no chance. And that was the moment, because up to that point Leicester had been on top.
Absolutely, John, it was. And sometimes that key to unlock, to break the deadlock in the game, if you like, comes not from your own design but from the opposition's mistakes. Manchester United just pounced on that loose pass from Fass, and just you can't give Bruno Fernandes and Rashford that time and space.
Manchester United knocking it around in their own half in the last minute now of added time. Commentary on Tottenham, West Ham from 4:30. Here's Sancho through the middle. Sancho will be feeling much better about himself, I'm sure. Fernandes now on the right side of the box. Ball goes for the chip to the far top corner, but got too much on that and it drifted over the top of the bar. Cheeky Bruno.
Yeah, a little bit cheeky. I'm not too sure what he's trying there. A little bit selfish, would you say, from a very selfless player in that moment.
Right, here's a quiz question for you. How many, unless you saw Gary's note there, which you might have done, I hope you're not going to be cheeky, Izzy, but how many attempts on goal in this match? Come on, answer off the top of your head, both ends.
For both ends?
Yeah, come on, quick answer.
I'm just going to throw out 28.
43! Well, there it is, the final score. Brendan Rodgers comes across, and Leicester City's recent very good form comes to an end here. But actually, it's 3-0, but there's quite a lot to take out of this from Brendan Rodgers. But unquestionably, what another good day it's been for Erik ten Hag and Manchester United. In what was a pressure occasion, important in the Premier League, they're still in this race. They're on the fringes of it, but they're still in the title race. But in between the games against Barcelona, a week away from the League Cup final, to beat Leicester like this, 2 goals from Rashford, 1 from Sancho, that's a very, very good day for them.
That's a brilliant day for Manchester United. Big win, comfortable. Players getting minutes off the bench. Really good performance. It kind of felt to me like they moved from second to third gear, the latter stages of the first half into the second, and I still now at full time feel like there's an extra gear or two that Manchester United could have moved into if they wanted to, but they haven't. They've kept some back in reserve, and that really should excite Manchester United fans going into this week that they're in.
Well, last night, I was at St James's Park watching a rather subdued send-off for Newcastle to the Cup final next weekend. This is altogether more optimistic from Manchester United, who will, without question, go into that final as the favourites. You know, there's a lot around that match in a week's time. But and the cheers. David De Gea there as well in the middle of the field, punching his fist towards the Stratford end. A new club record now for him as a Manchester United goalkeeper, with his 179th clean sheet, one ahead of Peter Schmeichel, albeit from many more appearances. And a big cheer for Erik ten Hag now in the corner of the stadium as well, raising his arm, walking in that perky way of his off down the tunnel. Yep, he's the main man, the Manchester United manager, and they've beaten Leicester City by 3-0.
I'll never forget, John, him bounding onto the touchline for his first game in charge as Manchester United manager. We talk a lot about the turnaround that's been achieved here, but Old Trafford just looks like a fearsome place to go, and that hasn't necessarily been the case for quite a while.
No, and as Izzy was saying in the latter part of the commentary, any team that comes here will have a challenge on right now to play against Manchester United, and that includes Barcelona on Thursday night. They're playing Cadiz tonight in La Liga. It'll be a different matter when it comes to Manchester United here at Old Trafford on Thursday. I would suggest to our listeners, don't miss that.
5 points then they are off the top of the table now, Izzy, albeit having played a game more. When John asked you before, are United right in it? You just paused for a second before you said yes. But looking at this team, looking at the way they're playing, and I suppose looking at the fact that unlike previous seasons, there isn't one team that just looks like they're unbeatable, they'll think they've got a chance.
Absolutely, Steve. I did pause because I didn't want to jump to a conclusion right away, but I think they are within the title race. Yes, they are. We wouldn't be talking about a team in third place as close as Manchester United are to the top without bringing them into the title race, whether it be Manchester United, whoever they are. If it was Newcastle United, we'd be talking about it. So they are in the title race, and what I'm seeing with every performance is slight improvements, and they're becoming more and more difficult to stop, because if you think you stop them in a certain area, they've got answers in other areas, and we've not seen that from a Manchester United team in quite a long time.
And I think you were right in what you said just before the end there as well. You did feel that had Leicester pushed United to another level, they would have gone to that next level.
Absolutely, I think that's a really good place to be as a team, when you feel like you've got that extra bit in the tank. And you look at the individual example of Marcus Rashford. He's just come off the pitch after scoring 2 goals. He was on a hat-trick, but he's left hungry to want more, and that's superb management from Erik ten Hag, because you can feel the whole of the team feel the way that Marcus Rashford's feeling in their own individual ways. And there we say Casemiro's coming back into the team. He'll be fresh. You know, after not playing today, he'll be fresh for the Barcelona game. And there's just so many things I see from this team that excite me moving forwards. And Sancho coming back in the form that he's arrived back in. It's exciting times for United fans.
And if you just look at that on paper, John, it looks like Leicester have been, hammered and they didn't play very well. But it almost says more about Manchester United that they've won this game 3-0 when Leicester did play pretty well.
Yes, they did. Chances early on, and David De Gea's very much played his part in that. But I think we saw in that first 20 minutes a real indication of what Leicester are now. And it's been a tough season for Brendan Rodgers in charge of that team. He's had pressure there. He's had pressure on him that he's not had in his time as certainly the Leicester City manager. And they've come through it. There was a question over whether they were going to be able to bring in new players. Injuries caused real problems. But, again, through coaching, really, and getting the players back, we saw in that first half the way that they get forward, the positivity, quite a number of occasions here at Old Trafford, playing fearlessly, really, and blue shirts inside the Manchester United box, and had it been slightly differently, Manchester United might have found themselves with a real hill to climb in this game.
24 shots Manchester United, 25 shots Manchester United had in the game. It's the 9th game in a row in all competitions that they've scored 2 or more goals. At the moment, Izzy, even though they are third, if you were going to pick one of those 3 teams to go out and roll somebody outside of the top 4 over, would it be Manchester United?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah, exactly. They just seem like they've got so many sort of areas to their attacking game, and this tactical tweak of the fullbacks coming in field now with Luke Shaw, the form that he's in. Rashford, Bruno Fernandes just slips under the radar all the time, but he's always an 8 or 9 out of 10 in his performances at times. And Casemiro coming back in. Look at Fred, taking off Fred today after 60 minutes to perhaps rest him, because he knows he's got a big role to play in that midfield, the absence of Christian Eriksen. I think that the team most likely to roll someone over at the moment is Manchester United, yeah.
That's a good question, Steve. I hadn't noticed that. Looking now, the most they've scored in one match this season is 4, and in only one match, and that was the Carabao Cup against Aston Villa in November, the 4-2 win. Other than that, not more than 3 goals in any match.
But more than 2 goals in so many matches. Remarkable. And as John said, the next 2 Manchester United games are going to be great listens. Barcelona in the Champions League, full commentary on Thursday, and then full commentary, of course, of the League Cup final on Sunday when they face Newcastle. John, Izzy, thank you very much indeed. Izzy Christensen with correspondent John Murray at Old Trafford, where Manchester United look very good indeed. They're third in the Premier League table on 49 points from 24 games. Manchester City